A person wakes up in a strange place, wondering about his identity, and whether he has already passed away. She hears the voice of a woman, begging an ancestor to have mercy on her and her child, and to allow her to give birth. The answer is a firm negative, as another voice confirms that the valley of the god of medicine. He has determined that the mother's origin has been damaged. Her innate talent is insufficient, and the fetus in her womb has an ordinary basis. That voice continues to question how the clan could not produce such offspring without becoming the laughingstock of other clans, which leads the hero to wonder about the source of the conversation and what it means to be a fetus with an innate deficiency. Suddenly, he realizes the horrible truth. He has been transported to a fantasy world as an unborn child. He sees his pregnant mother in front of him and realizes that he is the child with the innate deficiency they are talking about. He realizes that the elder Song Su seems determined to abandon him, and contemplates the cruelty of this world ruled by force, where the weak are abandoned even as fetuses. The mother, Sanshin, asks if she agrees with this decision. Sanshin yells at him, questioning how his son with damaged root bones could share the resources and luck of the Wo clan, comparing him to Yoon's fetus, which is considered a heavenly body. The mother responds angrily, reminding Santiago that she was the one who transferred her true innate energy to save him when he was injured and unconscious, and that this act is what caused her son's root bones to be damaged. Santiago gives him only one choice, either to leave the Lu clan or to abandon his son. The mother is shocked by these choices. The fetus wonders what kind of scum would force a mother to make such a decision, and anxiously awaits her mother's choice. The mother, whose name is revealed to be Sang and Sin, makes her decision and announces that she is leaving the Wo clan. The old man and Sanshin look at her in shock. Jian and Sin declare that their life and death with their son no longer have anything to do with the Wo clan as of this day. The boy promises his mother that although he is a weak child with damaged root bones, he will work hard to cultivate, and together they will earn their dignity. At that moment of determination, an electronic system called the Late Blooming System appears before him, which has joined him, because he showed the determination to cultivate. He is surprised and excited to have a system, but quickly gets angry at its name, shouting that he has not even been born yet to do a late blooming. He discovers that the full name of the system is Late Blooming Greatness System, and thinks about how the system is pushing him to work hard while he is still in the womb. Then he wonders if this system has come 300 years too soon. The system shows him a glimpse of his difficult future, where he and his mother, Jian and Sin, will not be able to cultivate, and will be the object of ridicule and contempt by everyone. The system continues to show the tragic future of the child, showing how his half-brother has achieved the Tao, while he relies on the pills his mother begged to stay alive, and showing him that his determination to defy fate only came after his mother's death. The fetus flatly rejects this fate, screaming at the system to stop showing this tragic vision. Realizing that the system arrived 300 years earlier, he decides to turn his life from a failure into a triumph, and promises that he will rewrite his history to become a heaven-shattering miracle. The system presents you with a beginner's mission to voluntarily cultivate for the first time and amaze your mother. With the reward of merging with the archaic sacred body, he is stunned, and the system explains that this body grants an invincible physical strength, capable of defying the ancient emperors. She realizes that with this gift, she can definitely defy fate, taking advantage of being in the womb to be easily circulate spiritual energy through fetal breathing. His mother feels the strange activity inside her and wonders in shock if her son has already started cultivating while he is still in her womb. The system announces the completion of the mission, and the process of merging it with the sacred body begins. Archaic that activates the legacy of the ancient sages. The mother notices a strange lightning-like phenomenon outside. While in his consciousness, he sees visions of ancient emperors before whom heroes are nothing. The mother feels a flow of golden spiritual essence, repairing her damaged foundations, and her confusion grows about how such a phenomenon could come from her supposedly deficient child. The system explains the cultivation path, which begins with the 3 lower realms: blood transformation, cave sky, and spirit manifestation, each of which consists of 10 levels. That reaching certain ranks before adulthood is a sign of supreme genius. It is said that one who can break the manifestation of the spirit before reaching adulthood and reach the venerable realm even at its first level, is considered a miracle among miracles. That is what is called destiny. The system shows the new state of the child, now called Saint Wang. With his archaic sacred body having reached the first level of blood transformation, then rapidly advancing through the second, third and fourth level. San Wang declares that this moment is the starting point to challenge and rewrite his destiny. Elsewhere, the mother arrives at a large residence and announces her return to her elder brother and sister-in-law, where she is greeted by her elder brother, San Wang, and his wife, Sang Shiqing. The brother explains to his sister that they went to seek help from a higher sect to treat their son, because no one dares to anger the Wo clan. Jian Sichin responds harshly, accusing San Kixin of crawling back for help after being expelled by the Wo clan. Jian Siqing looked at her with a sarcastic tone, as if implying that the Mo clan had not allowed him to take the resources of the marriage alliance from the rightful heir of the Mo clan, and that he had now returned feigning pride, while I was actually just looking for leftovers. Jian Sixian sadly replies that she wanted nothing more than her son's safety, and her brother angrily intervenes to defend her, ordering his wife to shut up and assuring that the Jian clan will provide all the resources necessary for his nephew. The older brother, Jiang Wang, tries to calm down his sister, Jiang Kixin, asking her not to be affected by his wife's harsh words, explaining that he is only sharp-tongued, but he is actually kind-hearted. Jian and Sin assure her that it doesn't bother her, and that she knows her sister-in-law's nature well. Meanwhile, the fetus Jian Wang was thinking that his mother was not being bullied as he had expected. On the contrary, he felt a warmth and welcome in the Sang clan that far surpassed what he had experienced in the Mo clan. His thoughts are interrupted by the arrival of Jian and Sin's parents, who announce their return, and have brought with them a distinguished figure, Sage Mao, from the palace of the Sage of Creation. The fetus is hypnotized by the stunning beauty of the sage, thinking to himself that this beauty is worthy of an Essence fantasy world. Suddenly, the fetus is surprised by the reappearance of its electronic system, which presents it with a new mission under the name of Late Blooming Greatness. San Wang realizes that the system should automatically react to encountering a powerful person, and decides that Sage Mao is his best choice right now. He decides that if he shows his talent early, he will make the clan value his mother more. The mother, Saint Kixin, steps forward and respectfully asks the sage for help, while the fetus plans to amaze the sage with the power of his archaic sacred body. The sage asks everyone to wait outside, telling them that he will examine the fetus with the patient inside the hall. The sage assures the mother that he will not use any spiritual power to stimulate the fetus because it is weak. The sage places his hand on the mother's wrist to check her condition. The fetus hears the weak word and thinks sarcastically, daring her to say that to her archaic sacred body. As soon as the sage places his hand on the mother's wrist, his expression changes, and he feels a terrifying aura coming from the chaotic primordial era. The mother asks him worriedly what is going on, and the sage asks in amazement if this child has already been diagnosed with a lack of innate power. The mother confirms that this was the diagnosis of the Nuo clan healers. The sage decides that she will see for herself the depth of this child's potential and begins to use her power to examine him. The fetus feels that his future master is not satisfied yet, so he decides to show all his power and orders his archaic sacred body to open up. The sage notes that this little guy still refuses to give up and admires his fighting spirit, saying that if he had not come here by chance, the world would have lost an unparalleled genius. The mother is completely stunned. Since those present do not know the true nature of the innate bone structure of the fetus, the sage suggests using his special treasure that reveals the truth of all things to enlighten him. The mother thanks him with deep gratitude. When the sage and the mother leave the hall, anxiety prevails among the clan members waiting outside, thinking that the examination ended quickly because the child could not be saved. The sage tells them not to let their thoughts fly, and then announces that the child in her womb is not only unharmed, but actually possesses an unparalleled talent. Likewise, the wise Mao confirms that what he has just examined is the truth, and considers it his good fortune to have come here and witnessed this matter. The grandfather is perplexed, wondering how his grandson can be so talented when he was told that he lacked natural talent. The wise man dismisses such a diagnosis as the nonsense of an ignorant doctor. Using his treasure, the sage shows an impressive vision before the Sang clan, where a majestic scene of 9 golden dragons pulling a huge bronze coffin through the sky appears, leaving the clan members in a state of shock and amazement. The sage explains that only one of these 9 sovereign dragons could crush the entire Sang clan with a single finger. The clan members wonder about the identity of the person being taken out inside that coffin, only for the vision to reveal a young man who looks a lot like his mother, San Kixon. The wise man realizes that the sacred body, Archaic, has been born into the Sangi clan, who is about to emerge a celestial emperor. Joy overwhelms grandfather and grandmother cries out with tears of joy that heaven has blessed her clan. The mother, Jian and Sin, looks at her belly with pride, telling her son that he has really brought honor to her. The sage then turns to Jian and Sin, telling him that he is not from introductions and will speak directly, offering to let his son join the palace of eternal creation as his disciple. She promises to personally supervise his growth and training until he becomes an unparalleled force in the world. The clan members are surprised again, realizing that this offer is for the position of the main disciple, a position for which the heirs of the imperial clans could fight to the death. Meanwhile, the fetus, San Wang, thinks that the palace of creation is a first-class sect that surpasses. He more than meets his system's requirement of at least a third-class sect, and wonders excitedly about the size of his reward. The mother, Jian Kixon, bows respectfully and accepts the offer, expressing her gratitude, and that of the Jian clan, for this great favor of the sage. The mother thinks about how the world has been turned upside down in a single day and asks her son in her mind if he wishes to become a disciple of the sage. The wise woman smiles, thinking about how lucky she was to feel sorry and come to the Sang clan. Otherwise, he would have missed the opportunity to discover this terrifying prodigy. At that moment, San Wang's system shows him a glimpse of his original tragic fate. And then the system announces the completion of the mission to join a third-class sect or higher. Saint Wang celebrates inwardly the completion of the mission, and that the palace of creation is a supreme power, preciously awaiting its reward. He is confident that with the archaic sacred body and a high-level cultivation technique, no obstacle will stand in his way. The system announces the reward, a supreme cultivation method, called the Sky-Devouring Demon Art. Jian Huang is surprised to receive this legendary technique. The system explains that this art revolves around the absorption of spiritual energy from heaven and earth, forming a natural cultivation vortex, and is a cultivable and evolutionary method with healing abilities and immense suppressive power. The fetus decides that he cannot waste time and that this is his chance. He immediately starts cultivating while he is still in his mother's womb, and a golden spiritual energy rises from him, swirling around the hall, amazing his mother and the clan members. His uncle and aunt look on in absolute shock, and his uncle wonders in disbelief how his nephew has started cultivating, even before he was born. The grandfather exclaims that heaven has blessed the Jian clan, while the uncle and his wife look on in shock. Meanwhile, the wise Mao thinks to herself with satisfaction that with a disciple possessing the archaic sacred body, no one will dare to say that his lineage is weak in the Immortal Palace tournament 100 years from now. The wise woman declares that accepting a new disciple requires a welcome gift, and as his teacher, she will first present him with a treasure. The fetus, Zhang Wang, is sure, thinking that with his sacred body and the heaven-devouring demon technique, the treasure will immediately recognize him as its owner. He spiritually summons the treasure, trusting that to subdue an ordinary treasure is extremely easy for him. The treasure goes directly to the mother's womb and merges with it, surprising to the wise one who wonders how an unborn child could make a treasure recognize him. But it didn't end there. After the system's mission was completed, the fetus mentally ordered the treasure, now known as the Heaven and Earth Fire Suppression Armor, to be upgraded. The armor transforms and evolves into an innate spiritual treasure. The family members are amazed, wondering about the nature of this amazing scene, and how an unborn child could subdue and improve a treasure. The wise woman admits to herself that she had intended to help the boy merge with the treasure. But she did not just subdue him on her own. His sacred body even managed to upgrade him to an innate spiritual treasure. The wise woman decides that with an innate spiritual treasure attached to it, no ordinary cultivator will be able to harm it. She announces that she will personally return when Sanwang reaches the cave heaven realm to guide him to the sect and take him to explore the vast cultivation world. 3 days later, a group of soldiers from the Great Divine Dynasty approaches. They break into the Sang clan hall and demand that the person in charge leave immediately. The mother, San Kixin, immediately realizes that they have heard the news of her and her son's expulsion from the Wo clan and have come to annul their engagement, while the fetus mocks this classic situation, promising that this dynasty will regret his decision the moment he is born. The leader of the soldiers turns to the uncle of the fetus, Zhang Wang, reminding him of the arranged marriage decades ago. The guy angrily asks why they have broken into his living room in such a way. The leader introduces himself as General Gui and formally announces that the marriage agreement has been annulled. The uncle is already in anger, shouting at them that his dynasty was the one that sought this political marriage in the first place, and now they are coming to annul it without any respect for the Jian clan. General Gui retorts that the news of Jian Suxin's expulsion has spread everywhere and that his son is no longer the rightful heir, questioning how the small Jian clan could be worthy of an alliance with his great dynasty, while the fetus internally mocks his accusation of innate talent deficiency, promising that this general will kneel before him, begging him to accept his princess on the day of her birth. The general continues his insults by saying that his emperor was merciful in sending him. Otherwise, it would be them, the ones who would kneel before the imperial hall, claiming that their princess deserves an imperial marriage, and not to be paired with the inferior deficient root of the Han clan. The uncle threatens to execute him for his insolence and for defaming his nephew in his own house. The general mocks the uncle and moves to attack the fetus, to get rid of useless garbage. The fetus becomes enraged by the attempt to harm its mother. Suddenly, a huge spiritual hand appears and stops the general's attack, who screams in surprise, asking the elders for his Anman. 2 old men appear, laughing, mocking the grandfather of the family and offering, getting to train him. General Wui introduced the 2 elders, explaining that they were the Wan Min elders, court cultivators of his dynasty, while the fetus Yang Wang noticed to himself that the cultivation level of these 2 old ghosts was not low. The uncle shouted angrily, accusing the great Jia dynasty of allying with these notorious and shameful elders, and questioned whether his dynasty felt any shame. One of the old men responded angrily, asking the uncle condescendingly if it was his turn to speak. One of the elders attacked the uncle, forcing the grandfather to intervene to protect him, who was pushed back forcefully while catching him. In the chaos, the other elder took the opportunity to launch a deadly sword attack on the pregnant mother, San Kixin, mocking that old grandpa wouldn't be able to protect everyone. Immediately, the fetus's system issued a warning of a fatal threat and gave him an emergency mission to protect his mother from being killed. The fetus burned with rage, considering that attacking a pregnant woman was the height of depravity. San Wang activated the heaven-devouring demon art, ordering it to be swallowed. The attack. A vortex formed, attracting the spiritual power of the elders' attacks, leaving them shocked and bewildered when their powers suddenly disappeared. The grandfather wondered confused who had intervened to help the Sang family. The terrified old men decided to attack, together, throwing blue ghost hands. The fetus responded by using its innate spiritual treasure, creating the cold flame barrier of heaven and earth, with the intention of burning them to death. The flames burst out with immense power, terrifying the elders who realized that they were facing to an innate spiritual treasure and wondered how a small family like the Jian could possess such a weapon. One of them demanded that the hidden entity reveal itself and stop hiding in the shadows. The system announced the successful completion of the mission of surviving a life-or-death crisis, rewarding Jian Zhang Huang with a mysterious and grandiose 9-turn rebirth pill. The instructions explained that this pill instantly restores spiritual power upon being ingested, and the fetus felt confident, promising to restore the honor of the Sang family that day. Miles away, the wise Mao felt the activation of the spiritual treasure, and marveled that her disciple had used it only 3 days after she had left. She focused her power to see what was happening, and a spiritual projection of her appeared over the Sang family's living room, angrily asking who the blind fool was that had he dared to harm his disciple. She forcefully descended into the hall, declaring that this child was the main disciple of the Eternal Creation Palace, and questioned who gave them the audacity to attack him. The fetus was surprised by the presence of his master, guessing that he must have left an emergency measure inside the treasury. One of the elders refused to believe it and attacked the wise woman's projection, accusing her of deception. The wise woman easily countered his attack, and the fetus mocked the audacity of an ancient emperor by challenging an ancient wise woman. While he was relieved that his teacher had intervened, the two elders were shocked. One of the elders tried to use a veiled threat, asking the wise woman to reveal her name, so that her dynasty could seek her guidance in the future. The wise woman mocked his threat by declaring that a fourth-class ancient emperor wasn't even worthy of hearing his name. At that moment, grandfather attacked using the spiritual crane left by the wise woman, directing it at one of the elders, brutally defeating him and sending him to the ground covered in blood. General Gui is left in a state of shock, unable to believe that a mere threat of divine consciousness could suppress an ancient emperor, and he melts down. He realizes that this woman is indeed from the palace of eternal creation, and that the son of the Sang family, who had been dismissed as a mortal root, would actually enter this palace, while the fetus, Sang Wang, thinks to himself, "It's too late for regrets." The defeated old man urges the general to retreat, while the general looks in terror at the projection of the sap, thinking to himself that what is happening is impossible, curses the Lo clan, calling them fools for throwing a genius able to enter the palace of creation, thus bringing disaster upon the great Xia dynasty. The grandfather of the Sang family begs the wise woman to spare the lives of these shameless opportunists, so that they can witness with their own eyes what kind of miracle their grandson will become in the future. The wise woman agrees and orders them to return alive to deliver a message to her dynasty that the marriage contract between the family, Jian family, and the great dynasty has been annulled. The fetus is pleased by this, wondering if his teacher intends to help him. But the wise woman reconsiders and loudly declares that it is not her right to annul the marriage of her disciple. She unleashes a powerful force that pushes the soldiers back, and then he throws the annulment document at them, claiming that his disciple is the one who despises the marriage with the princess of his dynasty. The wise woman yells at them, asking why they haven't left yet. Then she warns them not to forget to return the engagement gifts, or she will come to demand them herself. The defeated general can only reluctantly agree. After his departure, the family members bow down to the sap, and the uncle expresses his gratitude, saying that without his intervention and the use of the spiritual treasure, the Jian family would have faced a disaster. The grandfather steps forward and offers the deepest thanks of the family for his great kindness. The wise woman tells them not to think of it that way, since she has accepted Jian Wan as her disciple. Her family's affairs are now linked to hers, but she clarifies that saying that she was the one who used the spiritual treasure is not entirely accurate. The spiritual Gruya laughs, saying that her teacher is direct and would not dare to take credit for what belongs to her disciple. The wise woman promises the young grandson that the family will provide him with all the resources they can muster. The fetus is touched by this, thinking, "You are truly my true teacher." The grandfather understands what the wise woman means and asks the others to leave so that he can discuss matters with her in private. Once they are alone, the grandfather asks the wise woman what kind of physical constitution her grandson possesses that allowed him to use a spiritual treasure while he was still in the womb. The wise woman reveals that the child possesses the legendary archaic sacred body, leaving the grandfather in a state of total shock. The wise woman explains that she herself does not know why she was able to control the treasure as a fetus, since the last appearance of such a body was hundreds of thousands of years ago, and adds that since the little one has already begun to be cultivated, no one knows how overwhelming his power will be at birth. The joy overwhelms the grandfather, and he exclaims that heaven has truly blessed his clan. The wise woman warns him that the resources needed to cultivate the archaic sacred body are immense, and that his base should not be neglected before he officially enters. In the palace of creation, Grandpa thanks him for the reminder and promises that the Jian clan will gather all their strength to lay a solid foundation for Jian Wang. The uncle's wife celebrates, declaring that the Jian clan's rise is imminent, and the uncle exclaims that they must make the clan unrepentant of his decision. The Jian Wang fetus reflects on recent events and concludes that this world is truly ruled by force. Her beautiful teacher had barely lifted a finger, but her enemies were pushed to the limit. and he resolves that he must win not only from the starting line, but from the very womb. Afterwards, the family gathers to greet the ancestor of the Jian clan. The ancestor tells them that he has already heard about the physical constitution of the child, and that, despite his unimaginable power, he requires unlimited resources. Therefore, she decides to give up all her personal resources to the child. The mother opposes this decision, explaining that the ancestor needs almost half of the clan's wealth to continue his own cultivation, and that giving up everything means that the whole clan will lose everything in nurturing this child. But the ancestor insists that his decision is final, and also hands over the resources gifted by Samyo. The mother thanks him on behalf of her son. The fetus system issues a new mission: to cultivate continuously for a month and impress the ancestor with the reward of supreme celestial greatness. Sang Wang is excited about the reward, and the system explains that this greatness was only born for ancient and powerful beings, and comes with a unique innate divine ability. The fetus is confident that with the resources he has obtained and the technique of the heaven-devouring demon, he can reach the realm of spiritual manifestation, and that an unborn child reaching this peak will be enough to impress the ancestor, and starts farming right away. A month later, the ancestor feels bored and restless and decides to go to see his grandson. He has spent the whole month guarding and protecting the prodigy of the Sang family to make sure nothing happens to him, but he had forgotten to follow his progress in cultivation. When he finally checks his level, he is completely shocked, wondering in disbelief how his grandson has reached the top of the realm of spiritual manifestation in just 1 month. At the same moment, the fetus was thinking that it had reached this peak 3 days ago, and that today it might try to reach the venerable realm, and wonders if it will succeed. As soon as the ancestor discovers his level, the system announces the completion of the quest to impress the ancestor. The fetus smiles to see how easily his ancestor was surprised. The reward, the supreme greatness, appears as a spiritual skeleton, and the fetus feels that its mere aura relieves the bottleneck that was hindering its progress. The system automatically begins to merge greatness with it. The fetus decides to surprise his ancestor even more and borrows the power of greatness during his fusion to reach the venerable realm. He notices a purple energy emanating from greatness and feels pleased. The ancestor becomes worried, realizing that his grandson is attempting a breakthrough, and fears that this reckless breakthrough will damage his base. At the same time, the mother feels another aura inside her child. The breakthrough succeeds with surprising ease, and the fetus discovers that the divine ability bestowed by the supreme greatness is related to time itself. He realizes that he had been rushed, and that the venerable realm was his limit at his current speed. But now, with his new ability, he orders the flow of time to slow down, giving him the opportunity to reach even greater levels before he was born. The ancestor feels a sense of awe at the overwhelming aura emanating from his grandson, who carries traces of the laws of time, and admits that he can no longer understand the abilities of the child even before his birth. He laughs with immense joy, declaring once again that heaven has truly blessed the Sang family. A few months later, Jansixin goes into labor. Her family waits anxiously outside the room for 3 long hours, and the midwife urges her to hang in there. At the moment of his birth, Jian Wang's system announces that he has reached the ancient and born immortal realm. His birth causes a great celestial phenomenon that attracts the attention of great figures from all over, who descend from the clouds to offer their congratulations. Viewers wonder how an ordinary true immortal could cause such a cosmic phenomenon, and one realizes that this vision must be due to the birth of the child rejected by the great Xia dynasty. A wiser person rebukes him, telling him that those rumors are old news, and reveals that the son of the Jian family is so extraordinary that a sage from the palace of creation, Eterna, accepted him as a disciple while he was still in the womb. Suddenly, the emperor of the great Xia dynasty arrives himself, realizing that the commotion this child has caused is too big to ignore. Legendary celestial phenomena continue to appear one after another. The golden lotus of the bitter sea. The spectators are amazed by the continuous phenomena, then the splendid rivers and mountains appear, followed by the bright stars in the sky. The emperor recognizes the latest phenomenon, the Jin-Yang life and death diagram, a vision not seen in 1,000 years. But the newborn Jian Wang is not finished yet. It fuses all 5 of these grand visions into one final phenomenon, The immortal king descends from the 9 heavens. The ancestor stands up with tears in his eyes, proudly declaring that his grandson, San Wang, bears the bearing of a future great emperor. The emperor of the Xia dynasty feels deep regret, wishing that this child had been born in his dynasty. He considers rearranging the marriage, but dismisses the idea out of embarrassment. Meanwhile, the mother holds her son, telling him that he is her real pride. Viewers comment that the clan must not be feeling the bitter pangs of regret now. The emperor, however, comes to a gloomy conclusion. Since they have offended such a prodigy, their only option now is to eliminate him in his crib. 5 years later, San Wang appears as a small child in meditation, using his ability to slow down time. Despite reaching the top of the ancient king realm, he feels that his progress is too slow. Enthusiastic servants interrupt him, asking him to rest and offering him immortal fruit. He resents her excessive enthusiasm. Jian Wang gets up from his meditation to greet his ancestor who was waiting for him. The ancestor praises the 5-year-old San Wang, noting that he has already reached the top of the ancient king realm, and that in a few years, the ancestor himself will not be able to keep up with him. San Wang responds humbly, explaining that he hasn't made any progress in over a month and is stuck in a bottleneck. Actually, San Wang was facing a dilemma. A year ago, his system had assigned him a mission to enter a secret realm, but he couldn't leave the clan, due to the assassination order issued against him by both the Great Xia dynasty and the Nua clan. Moreover, he sensed a latent danger within the Sang clan itself. One day, during his training, he felt a sinister and poisonous aura, and by tracing its origin, he arrived at the clan's back mountain. There, she realized the existence of a terrifying and malevolent entity, and that it was no match for her with her current strength. San Wang discovered a demon suppression matrix, but noticed that even this powerful seal was starting to show signs of damage. With this internal threat and the external kill order, he felt that his current strength was completely inadequate, and decided that he should go out and find a secret realm to quickly increase his power. Returning to his conversation with his ancestor, San Wang tells him that he felt something on the back mountain. The ancestor confirms that he felt it too and assures him that the entity cannot break the seal under normal circumstances. But his words are interrupted. Ask for the arrival of urgent news. A clansman breaks in to inform them of the appearance of a secret sage kingdom in their eastern sea, and that the Xia dynasty and the Wo clan have already allied to control it. The ancestor immediately calls a clan meeting. San Wang insists on attending, stating that he is qualified now that he has reached the ancient king realm, and the ancestor agrees. At the meeting, the ancestor announces that the first issue concerns his grandson. San Wang addresses those present, explaining that he reached the top of his kingdom months ago, but has been unable to advance, and therefore wishes to leave the clan to gain experience. After the assistants confirm his level, the elders admire his rapid progress, but strongly oppose his departure, considering it too dangerous and that his enemies have set a clear trap. The ancestor suggests buying him an ancestral pill instead of taking the risk, and the uncle agrees with the suggestion. San Wang thinks that his excessive appreciation has become a burden that prevents his development. San Wang interrupts their discussion, asking them to listen to him. He acknowledges her concerns, but asks how he can become stronger if he continues to hide behind the clan at every sign of danger. He explains that although he has reached the top of his kingdom, he has never fought a true life and death battle. He also reminds them of the treasure his master gave him, which would make it difficult for even an ancient emperor to capture him. He begs to be let out and tempered in the outside world. After listening to his argument, the uncle comments that they had not faced such dangers at the age of 5. And the ancestor admits to himself that Haiyan Wang has earned the right to make his own decisions after surpassing most of them in the cultivation. The ancestor reluctantly agrees, but warns him that the geniuses of the Luo clan and the Jia dynasty have already entered the secret kingdom, and that they have set a trap for him where the ancient emperors will be waiting in ambush. So soon as his identity is revealed, San Wang responds with absolute confidence, trust, asking with disdain, just an ancient emperor, what is there to fear? The ancestor laughs out loud, impressed by the spirit of his grandson, and declares that this is the true spirit of the son of his clan. He gives her permission to leave, but asks her to be careful, and San Wang thanks her. Then he leaves immediately. His mother watches him leave, praying for his safe return. San Wang arrives at the entrance of the secret kingdom and notices that the place is full of life. To gather information, he approaches a cultivator and politely asks if this is the ancient sage's secret realm. The cultivator is initially annoyed, but notices the quality of San Wang's clothes and realizes that he might be a young master of a great clan, so he changes his tone and responds affirmatively. Saint Wang claims to be from a humble sect, then asks about the presence of so many children and young people. The cultivator bitterly explains that the great powers, such as the Great Jia dynasty and the Wo clan, have monopolized this kingdom, allowing entry only to those under the age of 18. San Wang wonders what geniuses his enemies have sent. At that moment, a group of the great arrives. Great divine Xia dynasty, led by the great princess Xia Mingyan, whose beauty amazes viewers. While one of her assistants tries to flatter her and belittle the competition, the princess shows her wisdom and warns him not to underestimate others, specifically mentioning two opponents. Strong, the mysterious son of the young leader of the Wo clan, and the son Kilin of the Sang clan. She expresses her regret that her dynasty has lost such a powerful ally. The assistant blames the despicable General Gui for what happened, but the princess orders him to stop and learn from this mistake, and the two assistants agree. San Wang watches the princess from afar, admiring her beauty, and noticing that she has none of the arrogance of the general who insulted her family. Next, the Wo clan arrives in a majestic carriage, surrounded by lightning, and San Huang smiles, fearing that he will not appear. An elder of the clan introduces his candidate for the secret kingdom, Loden, to the grand princess. Loden tries to greet her, but she completely ignores him, and turns to the old woman accompanying him, suggesting that they join forces to open the secret kingdom, leaving Loden embarrassed and angry. The elders of the clans work together to open the door to the secret kingdom, and all the young people are told to enter immediately. San Wang thinks that the time has come for the clan not to pay for their past actions. As he is heading towards the door, the old woman of the Wo clan, Wan Yu, notices him and recognizes the resemblance between his features and those of his mother. She concludes that he must be the prodigy of the Jian clan, and is surprised at his audacity in coming to this dangerous place, while Jianwan easily goes from her attempt to obstruct him and enters the secret realm. Outside, the elder Guan Yu of the clan does not decide to inform her clan, swearing that since San Wang dared to come, he will not leave this place alive. Meanwhile, San Wang begins his adventure inside the secret kingdom, where he meets spirit beasts, and thinks that the beast has fallen into the trap. San Wang discovers that these beasts are made of pure spiritual energy, and defeats them easily, but he thinks that they do not affect him, and that the rewards of his system are the most valuable. He remains cautious, aware that the Wo clan and the Jia dynasty are surely watching him, and have ambushed him outside, making him feel the need to take this opportunity to advance to a new level, as that their current strength will not be enough to face them. Suddenly, his system announces the completion of the mission to locate the secret realm of the ancient sages, and rewards him with an infusion of 100 years of cultivation. San Wang immediately sits down to absorb this immense power, excited to see how much boost he will get. This huge infusion of energy creates a pillar of golden light that shoots up into the sky, attracting the attention of all the young cultivators in the secret realm. As the spectators get closer, they realize that what is happening is not the appearance of a treasure, but a terrifying thunder celestial tribulation. One of them recognizes it as a 9 times greater thunder tribulation compressed into a single blow, a rare celestial phenomenon. Lo Dong, the prodigy of the Wo clan, sees this as an opportunity to get closer to Princess Xiangyan, and suggests that they team up to get hold of the supposed treasure. But the princess responds cautiously, noting that the level of this tribulation is unpredictable. Lo Dong continues to insist, while thinking to himself that he must win this captivating woman. In the heart of the storm, Song Wang rises, defying the tribulation that materializes as a palace of lightning. A lightning strikes him powerfully after receiving the first blow, and mocking his weakness, use the heaven-devouring demonic art to swallow the power of tribulation. Then he is directly confronted with an armored warrior, made of lightning. Sun Wang easily stops the lightning strikes and runs towards the warrior. The warrior gets angry and unleashes a powerful lightning strike. Sun Wang uses the strongest sword techniques of his clan to deliver a final blow. The others watch from afar in complete confusion, wondering what kind of entity could bring such a terrifying celestial thunder. And then, one of them notices a human figure. In the heart of the storm, the princess comes to an amazing and impossible conclusion. Someone is going through a tribulation to become a former emperor. And since the secret king has age restrictions, it means that a young person under the age of 18 is accomplishing this unprecedented feat. Lodongo observes the tribulation, realizing that the person who is suffering from it is completely unharmed, and decides that it will become a disaster in the future if it is not eliminated, with the intention of assassinating him under cover of thunder if the opportunity arises. The power of the tribulation intensifies to the point of threatening to destroy the secret kingdom, and the spectators flee in panic. Lodonga takes advantage of the situation to protect Princess Jia Mingyan from the shockwave, and she thanks him for his help. After the storm subsides, the mysterious figure disappears, leading those present to believe that he failed in his tribulation and perished body and soul. Lodong tries again to convince the princess to ally with him, arguing that they are facing an unknown power and must protect each other. The princess politely rejects him, claiming that she has already formed a team, and adds with veiled sarcasm that her strength is too great to join her humble team. Lodong is enraged by the rejection and swears to himself that Jia Mingyan is his, and no one will be able to reject him. The princess is impressed by Jian Wang's beauty. The guy sits down and thinks that he should look for new martial arts, since using the techniques of his clan will easily reveal his identity. The princess comes up to him and gets his attention. Jian Wang is surprised by his presence and realizes that he is from the Jia dynasty, but assumes that he has not recognized him. She asks him if he is afraid of her, and he begins to play the role of an innocent boy who praises the beauty of the princess. His charm works on her, and she pinches his cheek and praises his courage. San Juan makes up a sad story, claiming that his clan has fallen, and that he was forced to enter the secret kingdom due to lack of resources. The princess takes pity on him and invites him to join her team for her safety, and he accepts with feigned enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Loden feels an intense hatred towards Jiang Wang, angry that brat, San Wang, has ruined his plans with the princess. Start tracking down the princess's group. Soon after, a wolf attacks San Wang. San Wang catches the attack easily, surprising the princess, who marvels at his physical strength. San Wang thinks to himself that he was suppressing his power and realizes that Lodong is tracking them down. Lodong finally appears, stating that he entered this realm because of the princess, and uses a powerful artifact called the Ancient Trapping Pearl to trap her. While San Wang internally mocks the artifact's power, Lodong laughs maniacally, revealing his desire for her and her special exquisite 9-gen body, which piques Sangwan's interest. Later, around a campfire, San Wang continues with her performance, telling older sister Sia that she is scared, and asking if he can sleep with her. The princess teases him, wondering how the little monster that destroys spirit beasts could feel fear. He insists that he is really scared, flatters her, and then asks with feigned seriousness if she has a Dao partner. The princess sadly replies no. San Wang continues with his performance, feigning surprise that Princess Zhao Mingyan, with her beauty and status, has no suitors. The princess explains that the men who approach her always have impure intentions and a hidden agenda. When he asks about this agenda, she reveals her secret, asking him if he has heard about 9-gen's exquisite body. She explains that this body is extremely beneficial for those who practice dual cultivation, and for this reason, the evil sects look for women who possess this body to use as cultivation vessels. San Wang pretends to understand, clenches his fist in feigned anger, and vows to protect her from any bad guy who dares to approach her. The princess smiles at his childish jealousy and tells him to rest now. While they are sitting by the fire, San Wang feels that man, Loden, is still nearby. Annoyed by the constant surveillance, he decides that he must get rid of this muddy animal sooner or later to have some peace, and moves away from the camp. The princess follows him worried, and gently scolds him for being reckless and going out alone, while he apologizes to her. Luodong, who had been watching them with jealousy, appears and attacks Jian Wang, who screams that he is looking for death. Jian Wang calmly turns around and tells him that she was waiting for him. Lodong launches an attack towards Jianwang. The princess intervenes and stands between them, asking Lodong what his intention is. He laughs ominously and then tells them that they will find out very soon, and throws the old one at them, a pearl catcher. Catching them both, the princess becomes enraged and threatens him that she and her dynasty will not forgive him for his actions, demanding that he release them to prevent a declaration of war. Lodong ignores her threats with a smile and invites her to try, and the princess warns him not to. He regrets it. The princess tries to activate the rescue seal of her dynasty, but it fails and breaks inside the pearl space. Lodong mocks her, explaining that this pearl was personally refined by his ancestor, Wang Ku, who has a deep knowledge of spatial laws. He adds that the pearl seals all spiritual energy operations for those below the ancient emperor level, and advises him to quietly surrender. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the princess comes up with a plan and whispers to Jianwang that she will use a method to send him out of the secret kingdom, ordering him to summon the forces of his dynasty as soon as he leaves. Before he can execute his plan, Luodong turns his attention to Jianwang and taunts him, saying that he must be that abandoned child from the Luo clan from 5 years ago. The princess wonders, confused about the meaning of Luodong's words. Zhang Wang calmly responds, clarifying 2 points. First, he strongly refuses to be associated with the cursed Luo clan, declaring that his name is Sang Wang. Secondly, he sarcastically asks Lodong if he really thinks he has already won. Lodong laughs, mocking Sang Wang. Zhang Wang for bragging while on the verge of death, and vows to take his life on behalf of his clan. The princess, fighting against the power of the pearl, calls Lodong a shameless demon. Believing that the situation is hopeless, he tries to come up with a plan to sacrifice himself and distract Lodong, while Zhang Wang escapes to get help. But San Wang rejects his plan, telling him to rest as he has a simpler plan. He rises into the air surrounded by a powerful golden aura, leaving Lodong in shock, unable to comprehend how he can still use spiritual energy while trapped inside the pearl. San Wang mocks the artifact, calling it a broken bead, and then, with a simple wave of his hand, breaks the confinement power it imposed. He instantly appears before Lodong and tells him that he does not like to be belittled, then touches him on the forehead with his finger. This simple touch causes Lodong's spiritual energy to dissipate and his bones to break, and he falls to the ground. The princess watches the scene in shock as Lodong falls to the ground completely helpless, screaming that what is happening is impossible. San Wang stands over him and sarcastically asks him if he is satisfied with him now. With the power of the abandoned child of the Luo clan, Lodong pleads for his life, swearing that he will not tell anyone what happened. San Wang responds with contempt, asking if he thinks he is afraid of the Luo clan, and declares that he will personally visit them before he comes of age. And for now, he will simply charge some interest. Plant a golden core of energy in Luodong's body. Luodong asks him in terror what he has done to him. Jianwang explains that he is not bloodthirsty as his mother taught him mercy, so it will give him the opportunity to run and reach his ancestor to have the golden core extracted in the time it takes to burn 3 incense sticks, and if he succeeds, he might live. The princess tries to warn Sang Wang that releasing Lodong will bring disaster on him and the Sang family. Sang Wang assures him that this little thief will not be able to escape, as Lodong flees, shouting threats of revenge and the destruction of the Sang family, and vowing to crush every bone in Sang Wang's body. The latter calmly starts counting down from 3. When he gets to 1, Luodong explodes in the distance. San Wang turns to the princess in shock and smiles, saying that he was joking about showing my mercy and that he rarely listens to his mother. After witnessing the events, Princess Jia Mingyan confirms to herself that this is the divine child of the Jian clan. She remembers her father's constant regret for breaking off the engagement, and thinks that this meeting could be an opportunity to put things right. They go together to the place of the explosion. San Wang downplays the title of divine child, stating that his cultivation was strong at birth, and that it only caused a bit of a stir. The princess then asks him if he was the one who caused the thunder tribulation that wreaked havoc in the secret kingdom. He calmly admits that he caused the tribulation, sighing because he didn't expect a simple tribulation to break the peak of the ancient emperor realm to cause such a commotion. He adds wistfully that heaven is jealous of great talents, The princess is amazed by his power and confidence, thinking that he looks like an ancient god descended to the mortal world, and wonders what he will become when he grows up, then scolds herself for these thoughts. San Wang notices her silence and asks if she is upset. He confesses that he initially kept her by his side intentionally to use her as bait to attract and eliminate Loden. She assures him that she is not a petty person and is not angry. On the contrary, she should thank him for helping her eliminate a hidden threat, and Jian Wang shows signs of relief. Later, by a campfire, the princess ponders rumors that the Sang clan's son Qilin could be the reincarnation of life, of a great ancient emperor, and now he feels that those rumors have a basis in truth. He marvels at his immense talent, cunning and eloquence, concluding that few in his generation can compare with him. San Wang interrupts his thoughts and returns to his role as an innocent child, wondering out loud, who will be the lucky one to marry the big sister in the future, which makes her nervous, and she wonders about his strange questions. Afterwards, their conversation turns serious. She warns him that she does not realize the seriousness of the situation with the Luo clan, explaining that Luoden was from her direct lineage, and their ancestors will not let the matter rest. It also reminds him of the ambush that his dynasty and the Luo clan have set for him outside the secret kingdom. San Wang responds with disdain, saying that he will kill Luo Wangku with a single palm strike, and the princess challenges his overconfidence, asking him what he will do when the true power of the clan does not descend upon him, explaining that the clan has many powerful experts. To help him escape, she gives him a spiritual treasure from her father that can hide his aura. She insists that he take it, saying that he helped her and that the great dynasty is not necessary. She will necessarily remain his enemy. San Wang accepts the gift, but clarifies his position. Their friendship is personal, but he has no sympathy for his dynasty, and vows to make General Gui pay for insulting his mother and offending his clan. In a surprising move, the princess asks him, "What if we hand over Gui to you?